Hello friends, how are you? I am so glad to be back at your homes. Thank you for welcoming me. So today we continue with this great adventure that we have began, studying about the American Revolutionary War. So before we begin, I want to show you two countries who entered the American Revolutionary War. One of the countries is France. And here is France. This is Europe. Here's France. Do you know what they call the people in France? French. So the French. Also here is Germany, the country of Germany. And there are the Germans. Now here is Great Britain, England, the British. Remember, that's what the colonies were fighting against. 13 colonies that were over here. And they were fighting for their independence. They did not want to belong to England anymore. So that's what they were doing. That's right. That's what we've been studying about. Okay. So here we have another map. And this is a map how it looked back in the American Revolutionary War. So here we have the 13 colonies. And as you can see, here we have New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina. Here is our state, South Carolina, and Georgia. And the red, you can see here, the red stars is British victory, and the blue is American victory. And remember, the uniform of the British was red, and the uniform of the Americans were blue. So, what happened? How did the war begin? So, do you remember? On April 18, 1775, the first shot of the Revolutionary War was fired at the Battle of Lexington. And here we have, over here, the Battle of Lexington. And that was when the British were coming to get the powder and guns of the colonists. And remember, Paul Revere was the one who came and won. And what happened? Yes, the British could not get the guns or the ammunition. So, what happens next? In June of 1675, the Battle of Bunker Hill. You remember what happened in the Battle of Bunker Hill? Well, twice, the Americans, the colonists, drove the British back. They were trying to come up the hill where the colonists had been building the fort. And 2 times they got the British to retreat back, but unfortunately the 3rd time the Americans were out of bullets, of ammunition, so they had to retreat. You remember what retreat means? Yes, to go back. They had to go back. They had to leave the battle. So that was over here. Okay, so then what happens next? Well, the Continental Congress appoints George Washington as the leader of the colonial army. So then in 1776, Thomas Jefferson is appointed to draft the Declaration of Independence. And on July 4th of 1776, the Declaration is accepted and signed by all the delegates. Remember, the delegates belong to each of the 13 colonies. They represented each of the 13 colonies. So that is where we left. So let's continue reading. War in the Northeast. The British did not want to give the colonies their freedom. They hired Haitian soldiers from Germany to fight the Patriots. The British had more men and supplies than the colonists, but the colonists were fighting for a cause they believed in. They were also fighting in land they knew well. So two things the Americans had that are good. They're fighting in what they believe in. And if you're fighting in what you believe in, you have that big motivation to do well. And also, they live there, so they know the land very well, much better than the British do. Now, who were the Haitians? The Haitians were soldiers from a part of Germany called Hesse. So they're fighting with the British. So every time you hear the Haitian, they're fighting with the British. In August of 1776, Washington and his soldiers were met the British on Long Island. In what is now Brooklyn, New York, a battle began. The Patriots fought hard, but they were surrendered. A violent rainstorm began. Washington had to save his men. He asked nearby colonists to lend him their boats. In the fog, he loaded his men, horses, and canyons into the small boats. They crossed the East River to Manhattan. Then they marched north to safety. Okay, so here we have the famous painting of the Crossing of Delaware. And here you can see this is George Washington, and this is his army. And the army also has Minutemen. Remember the Minutemen? And you can see the big chunks of ice here because this is during the winter. Very cold. But before we continue here, I want to show you something. Okay, can you listen to the music? What instruments are they playing? What musical instrument? Yes, the drums and the flute. Okay, the flutes were like flutes, and that you could hear them when they were marching, either to battle or just marching. You could hear them playing that music, those instruments. Now, I also want you to look down here. You see down here? As you can see, this soldier, his boot is peeling off. Okay, it's peeling off. And imagine your shoes or your boots falling apart in the cold. Ooh, I don't know about you, but that is very cold. Okay, let's continue. Crossing the Delaware. During the winter of 1776, the British and the Haitians relaxed. They thought Washington's army was too weak to fight in the cold. They were in for a surprise. On a freezing Christmas Eve in 1776, Washington had a daring plan. He wanted to attack Haitian soldiers in Trenton, New Jersey. So it is Christmas Eve and it's freezing, really, really cold. So let's see what happens. They were 1,500 Haitian soldiers. Washington ordered his men to cross the Delaware River. He watched as soldiers loaded into rowboats. You see the rowboats here? Huge blocks of ice floated in the water. Rain and sleet pelted down. The tiny boat struggled through the water. Time after time, they returned to pick up men in canyons because they're falling. Oh, that was a very daring plan. The Battle of Trenton. The men reached the New Jersey shore about 3 o'clock in the morning. They were wet and freezing. Their musket powder was damp. If wet powder is a problem, we shall use our bayonets, Washington said. And this is a bayonet here, it's an extension of a gun, of a rifle. The tired soldiers marched 9 miles to Trenton. Not only they had crossed that freezing river, now they marched 9 miles to Trenton. Some walked with their shoes falling to pieces. Their bare feet made bloody prints in the snow. Imagine that. Walking bare with your barefoot feet, so your bare feet in the snow. That is horrible. That's right. And that's why they were bleeding. The Haitians had been celebrating Christmas. Many were drunk or asleep. The attack was a complete surprise. The Americans swooped down on the sleeping Haitians. They captured over 1,000 men. It was a big victory for the colonists. Big victory. You can see here, this is a drawing of the Haitians being surprised by the colonists. Now we're going into the victory at Saratoga. So what happened there? The victory at Saratoga. In the fall of 1777, the colonists fought British troops in Saratoga, New York. Generals Horatio Gates and Benedict Arnold led the Patriots. After a fierce battle, the British surrendered. So we have another victory, the victory of Saratoga. Okay, so here we have Benedict Arnold. If someone ever calls you Benedict Arnold, they're calling you a traitor. After the victory at Saratoga, other countries knew the colonists had a chance. The French sent ships and soldiers. Their aid gave the colonists courage to keep fighting. So, Americans win the Saratoga battle, and now the French are coming to aid the colonists. Now, Benedict Arnold later became a traitor and joined the British. So he used to be a colonist fighting against the British, but then he betrayed the colonists and he came and fought for the British. So that's why if anybody, again, tells you Benedict Arnold, they're calling you a traitor. So here we can see how cold poor soldiers. You see here, you can see that they're wrapped in rags here because their shoes are falling apart. Okay, Valley Forge. Washington and his army spent the winter of 1777 and 1778 camped near Philadelphia at Valley Forge. What is to become of the army this winter? Washington asked Congress. Well, Congress had little money for the war. It was slow to send supplies to the soldiers. Many soldiers were wrapped in rags. Some went barefoot. Lice infected their hair and clothes. But you can see this picture over here. Let me see if I can put it a little bit big so you can see. Okay. So as you can see over here, again, once more, they are wrapped in rags, okay? Because their feet are, they're not their feet, but their shoes are falling apart, and, you know, the Congress has little money for the war. Okay, let's continue. But I'm going to put this smaller here. Let's get it back where we were. Are we over here? No. Okay. Okay, so hands and feet turned black from frostbites. Everyone suffered from the cold. Washington ordered the men to cut down trees for cabins until they were built. He slept in freezing tents just like his men. So George Washington also is sleeping in a tent just like his men are. Washington later moved to a nearby farmhouse where his wife, Martha, joined him. To add to their problems, there was almost nothing to eat. I imagine there's hardly anything to eat. It's cold. Ah, poor men. Bread made of flour and water was often the only available food. Smallpox, typhus, and other diseases broke out. Around 2,500 soldiers died from disease, lack of food, and the cold. About 500 horses died as well. They didn't have enough food to feed the men, also the horses. They didn't have enough food to feed the horses. It was the low point of the war. In February, Congress managed to send supplies. Life began to look up for the soldiers at Valley Forge. Okay, so now Congress has money and they have raised and they send it. And now they have supplies. It says here, turn the page to meet two men who helped at Valley Forge. So let's see. Baron von Stamben, Baron Croft Wilhelm August von Steuben was a Prussian army officer. He spent the winter training the Continental Army. He taught the soldiers to fight in an organized way. Each day he drilled the men on how to march and how to load their weapons. Von Steuben even wrote a training guide for the troops. So he was a great help. That's why these were Washington's wonderful friends. The other one was the Marquis de Lafayette. The Marquis was from a rich French family. Lafayette loved colonists' idea of liberty. He came to America when he was 20. So he was 20 years old when he came to America. Lafayette served on George Washington's staff and spent the winter at Valley Forge in 1779. Lafayette returned to France. He urged the French to send more aid to the colonies. When he left America, he took some dirt with him. He loved the United States so much, he wanted to be buried in American soil. So now the colonists have help from the French. End of the war. While Washington was busy fighting in the Northeast, the British were taking over the South. In 1778, the British troops captured Savannah, Georgia. A few weeks later, they took Augusta, Georgia. Charleston, South Carolina, also fell to the British. By the summer of 1780, the British held much of the South. So they have taken Augusta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina. In South Carolina, Francis Marion organized a militia. The men called themselves Marion's Brigade. Marion and his men were fearless, and that means they were not a fair. They attacked without warning. Then they slipped away into the swamps. Marion's brigade helped clear the British out of South Carolina. Francis Marion was called the Swamp Fox because he was so clever. George Washington sent soldiers to help the Patriots. Slowly, luck turned in the South. The colonists began to defeat the British. British retreated to Yorktown. In March of 1781, the British suffered a big loss in North Carolina. This was at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. General Cornwallis commanded the British soldiers. Cornwallis had helped defeat Washington. After the defeat, Cornwallis and his men retreated north to Yorktown, Virginia. Battle of Yorktown. And we're going to leave it here, okay? So I want you, as I told you in the beginning, not at the beginning, but in the suggestion in Schoology, this is what you need to answer. Which country helped the colonists? Which country helped the colonists? And the other question is, in March of 1781, the British suffered a big loss in North Carolina. Where was the battle fought? Where was the battle fought? Where the British were defeated and the colonists won. What was the name of the battle? Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'm going to give you a clue. Look over here. That's the second question. Okay, thank you, friends, and see you next week for our final journey of the American Revolutionary War. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed it. Until next time, friends.